Hi, I'm Liz of Sweet Sensations, and I specialise in showing people how to make dessert and raw chocolate recipes that are free from sugar, dairy and wheat and are full of high nutrient ingredients and don't need cooking. Today I'm going to show you how to make a very delicious and easy raw chocolate truffle recipe that has the added advantage of being free from nuts. I love nuts, I actually use them a lot in my recipes, but many people of course are sensitive to nuts, so it's nice to have a nut-free option to make. So I'll show you the ingredients first. This is coconut oil, also known as coconut butter, and you need 25 grams of that. And this is raw cacao butter, and you also need 25 grams of that. And this is raw chocolate powder. You need 50 grams of this. And I use raw chocolate powder because it's very high in antioxidants and other nutrients, but you could actually use sugar-free ordinary cocoa powder instead if you prefer. And then this is something called lucuma powder, which is from Peru. Lucuma is a really good thing to use in chocolate recipes because it has a lovely butterscotch shortbready taste, and particularly when you're making dairy-free recipes, then it somehow just adds sort of milk chocolatey-like taste to the recipe, which is very good if you like that kind of taste. And then here is some sweetener. Now you basically need a syrup kind of sweetener, and I've got agave syrup here, but you could also use maple syrup or honey, or so we have something called Sweet Freedom, which is made from carob, apples and grapes, so you've got quite a choice there. And you need just under 2 tablespoons, which is 30 mils. And here we have vanilla extract, and you need half a teaspoon of that. Okay, so the first thing to do is to put the chocolate powder in the bowl and add the lucuma powder, and that's 50 grams of each. Give them a quick mix. And then you want to add the fats. Now you need to melt them first, and that's what I've done here using a food warmer. I've put both of the fats, the coconut oil and the cacao butter, in the same bowl. And I like the food warmer because it's quick and safe as long as you use a metal bowl like this or a shatterproof glass bowl. And it takes only about 10 minutes. But you could also use a bain-marie method, or you could use the very low heat on a hob in a saucepan, but you have to watch that more carefully, or if you're into raw food you can of course use a dehydrator. So next thing is to pour the fats into the powders. And give those a mix. Now one thing to say is that I've used an equal mix of chocolate powder and lucuma powder, 50 grams of each, but you can vary that. As long as you use around 100 grams of powder, you could actually do what I do quite often, which is use more lucuma powder to chocolates. Then you'd use about 70 grams of lucuma and about 30 to 35 grams of chocolate powder. So it's quite nice to play around with tastes like that. So once you've mixed the fats in, then you need to add the sweetener. Now you might want to do this according to taste because some people have a very sweet tooth and some don't. So mix that in. And you can add the vanilla extract. Make sure it's vanilla extract and not the cheap vanilla essence, which doesn't have a very nice taste. Instead of extract you could use the seeds from a vanilla bean, just use them according to taste. Okay, so that's basically the recipe. At this stage you can either just keep it as it is, or you can add flavourings. Like you could for instance add some cayenne or some chili powder or some cinnamon. One thing that's nice is cinnamon and nutmeg and orange zest. I've got peppermint oil here, which I won't put in now, but that makes a really nice flavour variation. And just make sure that you just add a couple of drops at first, mix it in and then taste it, and then add more if you need to, because it's easy to add too much. You also might find you need a bit more sweetener if you use peppermint, that quite often happens. Okay, so the next step is to put the chocolate into a mould. Now I've got here a special silicone chocolate mould, and you should be able to get these on my site quite soon. You can also use the silicone moulds which are made for ice cubes, but if you don't have any of those, just use any kind of container that you've got in your kitchen. You could use something like that, for instance, or a plastic container, and then once it's set you just take it out and cut it up into pieces. But we'll use this today, so you just take a bit of mix and press it into the mould. So press quite firmly, and then just take off any excess so it's got a flat base. Okay, and I won't do this all now, but once you've used up all the mix, you can then put the mould either into the fridge or into the freezer. I actually tend to use the freezer more often just because it's quicker. It takes about 15 minutes in the freezer and about half an hour in the fridge. And once those are set, you just take them out and literally squeeze them out, and you get these chocolate truffles here. So that's the recipe. As you can see, it's very quick and easy. It takes about 5 minutes in all. And just to say that I've written the recipe out on my site. So if you go to my site, which is sweetsensations.uk.com, and do remember the ending because it's a bit of an unusual one, and then sign up to the newsletter, and you can get this recipe, and I'll put the amounts there. And you can also get a lemon cheesecake recipe and another chocolate truffle recipe. And on my site I sell the ingredients, chocolate moulds, I've got some chocolate making kits, some handmade chocolate truffles, and also some recipe ebooks which you can get from anywhere in the world. So there's one on raw chocolate and there's one on ice cream. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy making the recipe.